Lisa was a single mom who had lived in her suburban neighborhood for nearly a decade. She loved her little home, her garden of blooming sunflowers, and the tight-knit community she had always been a part of. But recently, things have started to change. At the last HOA meeting, a few neighbors brought up the idea of banning political yard signs and flags, claiming they were divisive and distracting. Lisa had listened quietly, unsure if they were talking about her. In her front yard, she had a small, neat flagpole where she flew the American flag. Beneath it was a flag that read, "Trump 2024, Save America." Lisa hadn't thought much of it. To her, the flag was a statement of hope and her right as an American to support her chosen candidate. But it became clear at the next meeting that not everyone felt the same way. This time, Lisa arrived early and took a seat near the front. As the meeting began, Mr. Anderson, the HOA president, stood and cleared his throat. "Good evening, everyone," he started. "We've received several complaints about political signage in the neighborhood. Our bylaws don't currently address this, but I propose we add a rule banning any political signs or flags effective immediately." Lisa's heart sank. She knew this was directed at her, though Mr. Anderson avoided looking in her direction. A few neighbors nodded in agreement while others exchanged uncertain glances. Lisa stood up. "Mr. Anderson, may I speak?" He hesitated but nodded. "Go ahead, Lisa." Lisa turned to face the room, her voice steady. "I understand that not everyone agrees with my politics. That's fine. But isn't the whole point of living in America the freedom to express ourselves? I fly my flag because I believe in what it stands for, not to offend anyone, but because it's my right." Mrs. Patel, a neighbor Lisa often chatted with at the mailbox, raised her hand. "Lisa, I respect your passion, but some people feel your flag is aggressive. It makes them uncomfortable." Lisa nodded. "I hear you, Mrs. Patel, but where do we draw the line? If we ban my flag, what's next? The American flag? Holiday decorations? This is a slippery slope, and it's not fair to target one person's beliefs just because they're unpopular with some." The room murmured. A few heads nodded. Then Mr. Anderson spoke up, his tone firm. "Lisa, this isn't personal. We just want to maintain a peaceful, neutral environment for everyone." Lisa met his gaze. "It feels personal, Mr. Anderson. I've lived here for 10 years. I've mowed my lawn, kept my property neat, and participated in every community event. I've been a good neighbor, and now, because I choose to express my beliefs, I'm being told I don't belong?" A young father named Marcus, sitting in the back, raised his hand. "Look, I'm not a Trump supporter, but Lisa has a point. If we start banning flags and signs, where does it stop? Everyone here should be allowed to express themselves as long as it's not hateful or offensive." Mrs. Patel nodded slowly. "He's right, and Lisa's flag isn't hurting anyone. Maybe we should just let this go." Mr. Anderson sighed, looking around the room. He seemed to realize he didn't have as much support as he thought. "All right, we'll table the motion for now," he said reluctantly. Lisa sat down, her heart pounding. She had expected to lose, but for the first time she felt like she had truly stood up for herself. After the meeting, Marcus approached her as she was heading to her car. "That was brave," he said. "I don't agree with everything your flag stands for, but I respect that you stood your ground. We need more of that in this world." Lisa smiled. "Thank you. It's not about making everyone agree. It's about making sure we all have the right to believe what we believe." As Lisa drove home, she felt a mix of relief and pride. The flag in her yard would stay, not as a statement of defiance, but as a reminder that freedom of expression was a cornerstone of the community she loved. That's our little story for today. Drop down your views in the comments and subscribe for more stories.